Yes, the title of this video is from a Pierce the Veil song. Now, do you see all this stuff here behind me? All those blue sticky notes, right? Um, all those are random moments that I happen to remember. I've created this thing where as soon as I try to remember something, or I'll sit down and try to recall a memory, and if it feels significant enough, even just the tiniest bit significant, I'll write it down, I'll put it there. It can be the most trivial thing. It could be a little detail, or it can be some big event that happened. Or conversely, it could just be the smallest thing that I can remember. Point is, I remembered it. And if I didn't remember it, who knows if it'll ever come back to me. Because some of these things, you know, the only proof that it ever happened is my memory. And maybe the other person's memory if another person's involved. Now, I can't guarantee that the other person who I was with remembers it. And if there are no pictures or no notes about it, I didn't journal that day or something like that, then there's no proof that it ever happened. And see, I think this video is connected with my last one where what if it never happened? This one's like, what if I don't forget? What if I do forget? What if I can't forget? And I think the thing of forgetting is a very big concept, much bigger than people think, because you forget how significant forgetting is. You know, I think that without the without evidence of anything happening, without proof, without pictures or notes or memorabilia or receipt papers or tickets or whatever, your memory is the last thing that these things can cling to. And as soon as you forget something, there's no proof of it ever happening. And that's crazy. It's crazy to think that once I forget something, it's gone forever, you know? Um, and there's this thing that the brain makes false memories. I don't know. I don't even know about that, but that's kind of crazy, you know? And I don't know if it's ever lost forever. You can lose a memory forever and it can come back to you in a dream, but it's going to come back morphed and different. It's not going to be the same. So I've kind of developed this fear that if I remember something and I forget it, I forget to write it down and put it there, I might never remember it again. It might never come back to me. And I know that's an irrational fear because most of these things are with people. So those are fine. I might remember that when I see that person again, or maybe I'll remember it through pictures, or if something's significant enough, I'm probably gonna remember it more times than just once. But for the ones that are just me, I could have just remembered the most normal day in the month of June, of a year that I was nothing special was going on. It could be I remember the the bitter taste of the coffee, or maybe that day was cloudier than usual. Maybe that day I saw something happen on the street that I didn't see. All these trivial things in the moment they're meaningless, but I feel like when you remember them, it's a weird thing to see it. It's almost like, why did you remember that? And I fear that if I remember something like that and I forget to track it down or I forget to write it down, it's going to be gone forever. Now, I don't know if it's wrong to cling to moments like that, but I just feel like there's some ephemerality to it. The fact that it just doesn't last forever. The fact that I want to cling to it. I think I've written about this before in a few poems where most humans and most things that we do as humans is to kind of to mortify us and to make us feel like we're immortal. Trying to chase forever. The idea of forever, the idea of eternity, trying to make yourself feel like you can live forever. Forget that we're all dying, something with that idea. Especially those who haven't accepted death, people who are scared of dying. We take pictures, we put pictures in picture frames, we put things on walls so that we don't forget, because forgetting is death. And I realized that's a video I've made before. See, the reason this topic came to mind was because this morning as I was having breakfast, having a coffee outside, I had, I remembered something. And because I was outside, I couldn't write it down. I didn't have the sticky notes and I didn't have paper with me. So I thought, I'm gonna remember it. And now, a few hours ago, as I was biking home from somewhere, I realized I remembered something on the balcony. Now I forgot it. And I thought to myself, if that was like the scarcity of that and how rare that is. I remember these things from day to day. You see something that reminds you of something. And I think that without that, what can ever make you remember something? Um, if I remember something and I don't write it down, how can I know if I'll ever remember it again? And now, questioning whether it matters to ever remember anything again is a different thing. But, assuming that you have an attachment to these things, you know, why should it even be a problem to forget things in the first place? If I have this message of discover who you are and accept your past doesn't mean to forget your past. Imagine someone who has all these experiences, but they're scarred emotionally. You know, would it solve all their problems to just give them complete amnesia and they forget everything? Or would it be better to just have them accept that? Now, with my beliefs, I think it's better to just accept where you are than pretend and try to forget everything. But now, uh, conversely, what if I want to remember everything? What if I'm scared that I'm going to lose all the memories? What if I forget? And I think, with the natural course of life, there are many things that you'll forget, and only a few you will remember. It's like trying to sort out gold through a filter. All the dirt's falling out, but only the gold remains. Whatever. Some cheesy analogy, right? But imagine if every time I had this, I wrote it down to the point where I'd have a whole wall full of blue sticky notes with all these things I remember. Then would it still matter? I mean, to me, I think it would, because I have an attachment to those kinds of things. I don't know if I'm a clingy person, but I'm clingy to memory. Even with the things that I regret doing in life and things that have hurt me emotionally, I can still fondly remember those things. I can still say that I've accepted that, and I cherish the memory. I relish in the thought of coming back to that. And maybe this might only be a me thing. You know, Writing that down might be weird, might give you a headache. Maybe these things you want to actively forget. And I think just because I've clung so much to these kinds of things and I really value time and I know how short time is, there's really nothing that I want to forget. Even the cringe moments, I give myself pep talks that you're gonna miss the cringe when it's gone, or that when the cringe passes, it's not gonna be cringe and you're gonna cherish it, which is true most of the time. Things that I've been embarrassed about, I grow to laugh at afterwards. And I think eventually, just with time, you kind of heal all those things to the point where looking back is just fun. And I think with that reality, I kind of just do that. And there's not even that much. 18 years of life. And these are all you remember. I only started doing this like months ago. And I'm not that consistent with it. Sometimes I just literally let the memories fall through the cracks and I don't remember it. Now, sometimes they come back to you. Sometimes they're gone forever. But at that point, if it's gone forever, why does it matter? I don't know. Is there magic in there that I'm missing out on? Is there some stardust that I never got to get? I don't know. I don't think there's an answer to that. There is no answer to that. And the same thing can be said about good ideas. Imagine you have a good idea, you're writing a book, you have an idea for the ending, but you're out somewhere else, and you get home and you forgot it. Do you just lose that? My belief in creative things like that, I've always had the belief that if an idea is good enough, it's gonna come back. So when I have something like that, I just tell myself that, oh, if it's a good enough idea, it's gonna come back, it's gonna find you again. But I can't say that about this, can I? I don't know. I don't know how memory works. I don't know if memory works the same way as creative ideas work. But what I do know is that it's something out of our control. And depending on your belief system, it comes from somewhere else. Maybe it comes from the universe. Maybe the universe gives you a sign from the external world, a form. And then the formless meaning behind that is that it wants to remind you of something. You know how the feeling of seeing something that reminds you of a memory. Do you think universally it was the memory wanting to get back to you? Now, that's some crazy thinking. But I like to imagine that. Isn't it cool to just personify memories and think that if you're reminded of something, maybe the memory missed you, maybe the memory wanted to tell you something? Because I'm always under the belief that the world is talking to you through multiple ways, through events, experiences, subliminal messages. I don't know. I'm not too deep into that, but I always think that you need to read between the lines whenever something's happening. What if when I remember something, I'm trying to learn something? What if something subconsciously is trying to remind me that this happened and that I should do this? You know? And maybe that's a benefit with doing that. And I'll tell you what the original reason for that was. I originally started doing this because I thought I wanted to have scene ideas. If I wanted to write fiction, if I wanted to write a short story or a novel, I'd need scenes. And what's a good place? What's a better place to get scenes than real life? You know, a lot of real life experiences. You're in the moment and you think this would look great on a page. This feels like a movie scene. So every time that happens, I kind of remember that. And there's a picturesque thing about memories where in the moment it feels nice, but when you look back, you can kind of see it in a movie scene. You can see the camera shots, you can see the cinematography and the color grading of it. Or if you're a writer, you can see what words you would describe. You can see the dialogue exchanges and everything. Maybe as an artist, you look back at these memories and they're so picturesque, they're so idyllic, and you just kind of want to portray it. And that's why I started doing that. So I haven't done anything with it yet, but I don't know. It's just how cool it would be to put your life on a story, on a page, in a painting, in a movie, whatever. And that's a vessel to do it. That's something to do with. And I don't know. I've talked about a lot of things in this video. I think the general idea of memories and forgetting it's a big thing, and felt kind of chatty today. But that's that. I think I just want to talk about it. Try out this new lighting. It's pretty cool. My light broke temporarily, so this is the new setup currently. But I made two videos today. That's pretty nice. And I will see you in the next video.